So good evening. We are back again with another, I don't know what to call it really. It's not really a transfer video. It's not really a, let's just call it therapy. That's what it is. It's a therapy session tonight. First time on the channel. Dan Potts, welcome, mate. Hope you're good.
Yeah, I'm good, Chisley. How are you, man? How you doing?
Be better if Arsenal were doing all right.
It's just, do you know what? That you're right. Every time I come on, I say, "How are you?" and that's always the reply of late. This season's been unbelievable, hasn't it? Oh well, Arsenal ain't cheering me up, man. It's awful circumstances in the world at the moment, and this football team do the best it can to ruin my weekends, man. It's doing my head in. I tell you this, but yeah, we'll get into it, man. But I'm glad you're well, mate.
This part of it was an early kickoff, right? So we've had so many late kickoffs recently, like 8 o'clock, 8:15, 7 o'clock, etc., etc. Bruv, I can't lie, yeah. I have obviously people from all over the world watching this. Normally it's the Australian viewers that are watching it like 3, 4 a.m. They were chilling, bruv. They were like, yep, it's 11 o'clock at night. It was all the Americans fuming this week because they had to get up early, bruv, or stay up. But it's mad, bruv. I can't lie, yeah. Like, seriously, I'm going to get your thoughts on it. But when I see the starting 11, I was fuming, really, because I still thought we'd win. But I was like, hey, Gabriel, okay, cool. Martinelli, I was buzzing with that one. And then after that, I was thinking, well, where else are we looking at here? Because, like, you know, we've got 2 goalkeepers on the bench, which I ain't going in on the manager about that. Aubameyang pulled out last minute. Maybe that's why. But what did you make of it? Because as soon as you see that 11 and you just think, oh, it was Xhaka and El Neni, bruv. It's like, what's going on here? And then the absentees as well. What did you make of it?
Deflating, bro. Completely and utterly deflating. I said I really wanted to take this one seriously. Because let's be honest, the league is flawed, man. The league's done for me. With no chance of top 4. I don't think we've got any chance of top 6. People can sit there and say we're only 7 points off or we're only a few points off top 6. Let's be honest, we've got everyone above us that's got a game in hand. Everton have got 2 games in hand. If they win those, we're 11 points off 6. We're not even got to 4th yet. So I think we're miles off, mate. We are miles off, right? So those fans that said that Tuesday is much more important, I totally disagree. Because there's 2 ways you look at it, right? You look at the situation and think there's 2 ways that we can get into Europe or the Champions League, and it's 2 trophies. And he's just thrown one away straight away, right? Yesterday's game, straight away, I looked at that team, and I'm unlike you, I thought we were going to lose because I looked at the situation of the front 3 and thought it was dire, yeah? Absolute dire. And then what you get is Xhaka and El Neni. So you can slate Eddie all you like, and I'm not a fan of the kid. I don't think he's actually going to be good enough for Arsenal. Of course I don't. But where the hell is he going to get this service from now? We've got Xhaka, El Neni, Willian. It just, bruv, it gets worse and worse. Martinelli was our only outlet. You could see Gabriel, how rusty he was. Holding had a terrible game, and he's gone from Tony Adams back to Philippe Senderos in one game. I mean, I look at the situation with Gabriel Martinelli, and then he takes him off, and I thought, Am I watching a different game here?
I couldn't understand that.
What is going on?
Fuming. He was fuming. You see his face when he went off. He was not happy, was he?
And then he put Saka at left back, and I'm thinking, what is going on here? Am I actually watching what is going on, mate? Honestly, I'm so unconvinced by what's happening at the moment. And I get to the stage sometimes with this manager, and I start to go back and back and back, and it's been too long for me now with so many decisions. I gave him the first 6 months to try to settle in and say, look, first job, I didn't want him. You know, people said to me straight away when Wenger went, who do you want? I said, Simeone, straight away. Didn't even have to think. I said, get me Diego Simeone straight away. And then we didn't get that. We got Unai Emery. Then when Emery was getting, who do you want? I want Ancelotti. He went to Everton and we ended up with Arteta. So I never wanted the guy in the first place. But I was willing because it was his first job and because he was highly rated because of his number 2 with Pep. I give him the first 6 months and he won us an FA Cup, which, by the way, was only beating Chelsea and Man City. However, I gave him it and I thought, you know what? Well played. You've got us a trophy. I can't lie. Then it started just going really strange with everything from Xhaka's contract to Luiz's new deal to loving Bellerin, who I don't like, for loving Xhaka, who I cannot stand. And then he brings El Neni back in, and we've got some fans asking, why do we need Thomas Partey? You know, we played against Fulham with Xhaka and El Neni, and they've all of a sudden the next Vieira and Petit, bruv. What the hell's going on? He was dire yesterday, by the way, El Neni, absolutely dreadful. And I look at this situation now, Lee, and I'm like, without Saka and Smith Rowe, who, by the way, are only 19 and 20, I don't think we're going to win football matches. And that's a worrying sign, mate. That is a worrying sign that he would rather fight for 9th or 10th place on Tuesday night than stay in the FA Cup. bro. I was
And
just
it's the
shocked.
same FA Cup, which makes it even more baffling to me. It's the same FA Cup that has given this geezer any kind of credit in the bank with our fans.
Well,
So
man,
for me, just to dash it in the bin was just embarrassing. And the way we went down was just limp. We didn't even have a go, mate. Like, we had a couple of little half chances, but every single half chance fell to one of the least effective strikers in the Premier League. You know what I mean? And it's like, and then as soon as the game's done, you've got a Balogun tweeting out one of his goals from the under 23s.
You couldn't make it up, could you?
Mess.
You
It's
couldn't
a mess.
make it up.
Listen, I don't dislike Eddie. I said this on my player ratings. I don't dislike him. He's not done anything wrong for this football club, right? And if I was him, and I said this earlier as well, if I was him and I had a choice of going on loan to Bristol Rovers or City, whichever one it was, Sheffield Wednesday, I think it was, go to Aston Villa or somewhere else, or stay at Arsenal, I'm staying at Arsenal. Yeah. And then he don't pick himself as well. So it's like, you can't blame the kid. And at this point, he is useless, brother. I can't lie. He can't hold the ball up. He can't. He's not very fast. He's an instinctive 6-yard box finisher. Outside the box, he's useless. What does he actually bring to the table that Balogun or even Martinelli up front, or even Laka yesterday, because he was on the bench, what did he see in him to think, yeah, he's actually better than all of these? I don't see it, mate. I genuinely don't.
It's unbelievable. What makes me laugh is, sorry, man, I know you're going to read that some super chats out, but
No,
what makes me laugh with this fan base, or a certain section of the face, not the whole fans, it isn't the whole fans, but there was a certain section of this fan base that was celebrating like crazy in July or June, wherever it was, when we won the FA Cup. But all of a sudden, you get to see the stage of now, it's only the FA Cup. We've won it 14 times. Don't matter. We don't need that. We're more important on Tuesday's game. I can't understand it, mate. I can't understand it,
mate. I don't get it either. And this is what I said. Like, and I you see, like, my Twitter, I get loads of heat on Twitter, right? And we just had a conversation about how dead that platform is anyway, right? But it's mouthy as fuck, but it's just dead. It's just dead. No traction for this channel in particular anyway comes from there. But I just look at it and I think, like, if we had finished 4th last season but got to the cup final against Chelsea and they had finished 8th but they won it, the completely different narrative would have been thrown out. Oh, well, we've won it anyway. We've won it loads of times. We've won it more than anyone. Top 4 was the target. We've got top 4 in his first half season or 3/4 season, whatever it is. So everyone would have been on a different wave. Because he won it, he's now including it as part of a double. Yeah. He sits in press conference. You see his press conference. He sits there, brother, and goes, well, we've done 2 trophies. No, mate, the other one's basically the professional soccer aid. Because that's all it is. It's a charity game, yeah? And he classed it as a double. But what do you think it is with this guy? Because, like, I genuinely do not see anything managerially, man management-wise, or any of that, like, tactical-wise, starting 11. What do you think it is that he has a hold on this, like, a large percentage of this fan base?
I think it's 2 things. 1, he played for us, and 2, he won us a cup. That's the only thing I can think it is, because I look at the situation with Unai Emery, and I actually wanted Unai Emery to go at the end because he just lost that dressing room, and unfortunately, the players decided that it was time for him to go. And I don't think that the fan base, we haven't got a fan base that can stick up for the right people. Now, I didn't think Emery was as horrendous manager as people are saying, and he's proven that by what he's done at Villarreal, but also what he's done previously at Seville. But what happens with Arteta all of a sudden is he's doing worse than what Unai Emery's doing, but it's okay. You can't question this manager. I did it yesterday on Twitter. How dare you question this great man? Where's this come from? I don't understand it. He's won us an FA Cup. Granted, he did. But I'm not looking at that now. I'm looking at what we're doing in the league. I'm looking at where we are in the League Cup. I'm looking at his decision-making. I'm looking at his man management. I'm looking at the fact that we have still, a year's time, no style at all. I don't know if we're offensive side. I don't know if we're trying to play out from the back. I don't know if we're trying to lump it long. I don't know if, because sometimes we lump it long. I don't know if he's trying to play one in number 10. I don't know if he wants to go 3 at the back, 5 at the back, 4 at the back. I'm so confused. I haven't been convinced since probably, I would say, September, October time. And then it got worse and worse. And the one for me was you got thumped against Aston Villa at home 3-0. Show me something different. And he never did against Leeds, Wolves, Tottenham, Burnley, and the rest is history. And then we beat Chelsea, and we have 3 of the worst teams in the league currently playing in football, which is West Brom, Brighton, and Newcastle. And everybody's happy. And I can't see why, because I don't believe personally that much has changed apart from Smith Rowe and Saka have got him out of jail. That is the only thing that I can see personally, because he's sticking with the loyalty of these players that have let Wenger and Emery down. What is going on there? Why is he sticking with these players?
You just led me on to something that I wanted to ask you as well, because Rob Holding is a Wenger player, right? And obviously he's just signed a new extended contract. He already had 2.5 years left on his current deal, right? And we've now extended that for an extra year plus an option of another year, right? I personally don't think Rob Holding's good enough. I thought he was really good under Emery in a back three on the left-hand side. Yeah, I thought he was really good until he got injured. I thought he was probably our best centre-back at that particular point. And he looked good, cool, calm, collected. We were in a good run at the time, 22 unbeaten. Maybe that masked over it a little bit. But why is it that we can offer, like, and this is like a thing that winds me up, is the fact that you've just said, like, he's got a lot of Wenger players here and he's keeping faith in them. Our fans go down the route of saying, well, he's got Wenger players, he's got Emery players, he's got his own players. He needs to get rid of the Wenger players for us to move forward. So why is he handing out a new deal to somebody who's already got 2.5 years left when another Wenger player in Lacazette is down to the last 16 months or whatever it is? Balogun's not got a contract. Yeah. And then we're terminating Socrates and Ozil, which, by the way, I'm not disappointed one bit by that. But
no.
A lot of people were saying it was to protect his value. Me personally, he's worth 10 million quid regardless. Yeah. And if that was the case, then why didn't we extend Socrates for another 6 months or 12 months to protect his value?
This is what I mean. And I look at the situation with Rob Holding and Callum Chambers. They're both 24 or 25 years old. They haven't had a cap for England. And all of a sudden, people want them to try and be the next Keown and Adams. Now, I look at the situation with Rob Holding, and I think he has improved under Arteta in certain games. I do. I think he's been okay. But he's not the defender that I want moving forward. He's absolutely fine in a number 4 or 5 to come in when we've got an injury to a Pablo Mari or Gabriel, or if we can go and get somebody like an Upamecano, let's say, to partner Gabriel. But when I look at what his performances are like, he had a great game against Manchester United at Old Trafford, right? Really good game against Man United. And then the week after that, he goes and performs a breakdancing competition with Jack Grealish against Villa. This is the problem with these players. They are so inconsistent, mate. Yeah. And then he's got his mate Bellerin on the right-back side, who just gets brushed aside by Jack Grealish like it was just embarrassing. It was like a toddler getting pushed in the back, weren't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was that bad. So he's got both of these two, and I'm thinking you both need to be upgraded. But these are the two players that Arteta seems to like, along with Granit Xhaka and Lacazette. So this is worrying for me, Lee, because I'm looking at that situation currently at the back, and it's a lot better. Love Kieran Tierney. I can tell by your name that you love Kieran Tierney as well. Yeah. He's my favourite player by far. Gabriel, I actually think, was rusty as hell yesterday. I'll come on to that in a minute. But he was a centre-half that I do like. Rob Holding and Bellerin are the next two. They need upgrading, mate. They have never been good enough for Arsenal under Arsene Wenger, Unai Emery, or in Mikel Arteta, in my opinion. And another thing with Arteta is his press conference. People are telling me his press conferences are fantastic and they absolutely love them. I think he's a journalist's dream. He has got no experience of how to talk to the press. He gives away so much. And then he says yesterday that Willian and Pepe are not able to be at the level that he wants them to be. So why are they both in the team? And the next thing he says about Gabriel, which I could not believe, was that he wasn't ready, that he's got COVID. He's got COVID. He hasn't been ready. So why are you playing him in the team then? It's just, there's too many question marks for me now, mate. I can't get convinced.
And this is the thing, right? I get on Rob Holding's case, but I've said all season, right? And it's probably best that Saliba, who, by the way, got man of the match again tonight. That's twice in 3 or 4 games, right? And it's mad, isn't it? Right? But I've said it's probably best that Saliba isn't here because he will be playing with that fashionista at right back. And anyone who plays with that guy next to him is going to look shit, right? Every time I've seen Bellerin this season, he's gone inverted. Why are you running into players at number 10, mate? Yeah? Your job is to run around the outside of your winger in front of you. You give the ball to them, you run around the outside and you whip the balls in, or you lay the ball onto him to whip the ball in. The amount of times I've seen him in central midfield, and then what happens is Rob Holding has to come over, doing his little jockeying one, yeah, to cover, to wait for Bellerin to get back. And then what Bellerin does, and I've seen this in 3 or 4 games now, yeah, Holding tells him, fill back in at centre-back for me. Like, what is going on here? Why is the right-back filling in at centre-back while the right-back, the centre-back is filling in at right-back? Like, who organised that? Is this some fancy new thing in football or something? Because I haven't seen this at any other club other than ours.
No.
And with his man management, I think he's a shocking manager, bro. Right, at the start of the season, cast your mind back to this, right? We played the first 3 games. We had Fulham, Lacazette scores. The next game, West Ham, Lacazette scores. The next game, Liverpool at Anfield, Lacazette scores. Then we've got Sheffield United at home. He's benched. Why? The next 2 weeks, he's on international duty. Well, he ain't, because he don't go, does he? So why did you rest him? Then we come back from that international duty that he didn't go on, and he played Willian up front and benched Lacazette. And then for the next 10 weeks, we didn't win a game. Lacazette's got his head up his ass, walking around with a fucking long face. And now he's got back to scoring again. You got benched at the weekend. Like, what is going on here, bruv? Like,
it is unbelievable, isn't it? And it's not just him, mate. It's the man management between him coming out and calling out Pepe, but then a week later when Xhaka does it, he's just lost a little bit of passion. He showed a little bit of passion. You can't do that. You've got to be consistent with what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. Is a journalist dream. And also, this Maitland-Niles thing is getting on my tits, bro. He got man of the match against Everton, right, for playing right back. And was superb, right? And we thought finally I've always wanted him to play right back. I've always wanted him to play ahead of Bellerin, right? He finally plays there, and I think finally he's there, right? Then he doesn't play for 4 games. And when he does come in, he gets chucked in at left back against Palace, and everyone has a go at him for being rusty. Of course he's rusty. And then we don't see him again. We don't even see him against Southampton yesterday. Don't even see him. He doesn't come on, nothing. So
we played a right back at left back. This is unbelievable. It's mad. I've been on so many trips up north, yeah. I know that was down south, but I've been on so many trips up north. I remember the game where Oxlade-Chamberlain played his last game for us at Anfield. Yeah, and he played him, and 2 days later we sold him. That was the worst footballing performance I've ever seen from a footballer in my life. Yeah, he did not want to be on that pitch. He was scared to tackle, and I'm like, some of the things he did in that game, Wenger, were just questionable, bruv. Since this manager's been here, and I've been on him since day one, since before day one.
Yeah, I know you have.
Yeah, and I just look at it and I think, well, I don't want to be proven right. I'm looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer right now, and we were just talking about them 2 teams that played today, Man U and Liverpool. They're fucking light years ahead of us, bruv.
Yeah, they are.
They are gone, like literally. And people seem to think, I don't care how poor Liverpool have been recently, they are still miles better than us, and they have got some massive players out of their team and some big players well off form at the minute. But Salah scored 2 tonight, could have had a couple more. Mane looked a little bit better tonight. Trent, I don't know what's going on with Trent. He needs dropping, bro. That guy is just useless. But they've lost their best player in Van Dijk, who enabled the midfield to push up further. But the reason I brought Liverpool up is because when Klopp went into Liverpool, I have Liverpool fans in the chat, and every time I say this, they all agree that when he went in there, inside one game, the day one game of him taking charge of that club, they were playing his football. Yeah, they were getting battered every now and again, and they were beating Norwich 5-4 and losing to Stoke and all them ones or whatever it was. I think that might be for it. I think that was Rodgers, wasn't it? Might have been Klopp, but they were getting battered a couple of times. But he kept his style from day one. Have you ever seen a style from this manager? And do you think, I've put this question out before and I've never had a reply. It's like when you ask what the process is, nobody can tell you, bro. Yeah, it's like, I've been asking for over a year and people just waffle about, oh, we're following Liverpool. Well, these same people are now laughing at Liverpool, bro. So are we still following them or what? I'm saying. But have you ever seen a manager in world football come into a football club and implement a style and then totally change that style to be the complete opposite of what they implemented? Because I've never seen it.
This is it, mate. I said this last night on the hybrid squad. I said, listen, I understand that he has not got the players he wants, right? Yeah. But that, to me, is just not an excuse to not have a style, because Sam Allardyce, right, has got a style already at West Brom. Yeah, he's not got the players he wants, but he's got a style already. Do you think Bielsa has not got a style with the players? He doesn't got the team that he wants at Leeds yet for the Premier League, but he plays a style. You know what style you're getting. I don't know what this guy wants to do. And everyone just keeps saying, well, he sorted the defence out. Yeah, that's okay. But if we're not going to concede any goals, we do have to score them as well, because otherwise it is unbelievable to think personally that we have a manager here that everyone is lauding that has got nothing similar to Pep Guardiola whatsoever. Because I wouldn't mind so much, Lee, when Unai Emery came in, straight away I could see a style. I saw off the ball pressure. I saw high intensity. I saw playing out from the back, and I saw how he was going to link the midfield of balancing midfield with Aubameyang and Lacazette. And that was the thing that let him down in the end. That's still letting us down now, by the way, is our lack of balance in midfield unless we have Thomas Partey. So I understood what he was doing. Sometimes we lose 3-2. Sometimes we win 3-2. Sometimes we win 4-3. And other times we spank Fulham like we did 5-1. But with Arteta, I've not seen anything like that to convince me about what's going on with our style of play. And I do not understand his man management, mate. So I think it's spot on. I honestly do not understand. And listen to me, when people say that I want Arteta out and all this, the only reason I want Arteta out is if we're going to get an experienced manager in, like a Rafa Benitez, Simeone, Allegri. I don't want us to get Arteta out and replace him with Thierry Henry or Patrick Vieira.
Probably be Mertesacker till the end of the season.
All that, exactly, mate. Exactly. Exactly.
And this is why I didn't want an ex-player in charge of this club, right? And Kenny Ken says it as well. Yeah, and big up to him. He always said it. Before we got this manager, no ex-players. We don't want an ex-player anywhere near it, because this is what happens. You get sentiment involved, right? Oh, but he was our captain when we ended the trophy drought. He was Wenger's captain. He's sat next to Pep, the same Pep that our fans were calling Fraudiola for a decade, bruv. Yeah,
yep.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it looks like he is potentially part of that Fraudiola era, because what has he done? What has he learned off Pep that he's implemented at Arsenal? Can you name one player he's made better that was already here?
This is what I mean, mate. This is what I mean. I can't understand this. Listen, the only thing that I like I said to you, and it comes on to this point, the only thing that I like is the players that he has brought in with him and Edu, whoever it is. I still don't know how our club runs, by the way, but whoever brings these players in, they have been good players. So when people say that he hasn't got the players, he's already brought players in that I think have been good signings. I think Kieran Tierney was great. I know it wasn't his signing, but I think Kieran Tierney's a good player. I think Gabriel's a good signing. I think Thomas Partey's a good signing. Martinelli was a good signing under when Edu came. I think personally, when you look at some of the players like Pablo Mari, I think he's come in and been a good signing. I really do. I think Cedric's showing that he can be a bit part player to come on and do some work. So this is all him. Rob Holding, David Luiz, I know they weren't his signings, but he signed them on contracts to make him part of his squad. So I don't really get with that. I know that we've got some positive signings. We certainly have. And hopefully this window we'll go on to in a minute, that we'll get some more in the door. But I don't get this. He hasn't got the players to play a style, because that doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense.
Nearly half of the squad are his players. Yeah,
exactly.
People don't understand this, bro. He signed Runnison on his watch. Then he signed Matt Ryan, that's 2. He signed Cedric and Marie, that's now 4. He signed Gabriel, that's 5. By the way, these are all defensive signings so far, and we're still shipping goals, right? You then go on to Thomas Partey. He signed him. I forgot David Luiz. He re-signed him because he was going out the club. His contract had ended. So he re-signed him. You could then add in Dani Ceballos because he was back on loan. He just basically went on a 3-week holiday to Madrid and come back, because we wanted him back. So that's now 8 players. You then look at William, that's now 9 players. Yeah, you then look at Saka. He re-signed his deal on his watch. That's his player. He wants him now. He wants to keep him, albeit it's not his original signing. The same with Luiz and Ceballos. He wanted to keep him at the club. Martinelli, that's now another one. Aubameyang, another one. These are his players that he wanted to keep. That's 14 players or 13 players. Yeah. Now add into the fact that he's binned Ozil, whether you agree with that or not is irrelevant. His decision, apparently, is a liar, right? It weren't his decision. Then he's been Guendouzi. For me, that's ridiculous. He's the one player at this club who actually has any fucking balls, bruv. Yeah?
I agree.
Then he's been Torreira, who's apparently coming back now because Atletico have binned him. So maybe that's a good decision to have binned him, because maybe he ain't all that. I don't know. Then he's been Saliba. Fucking shambles. That geezer's had 2 man of the matches since he's been at Nice. Yeah, again tonight he's got it. Then you got the Socrates one he's binned. He's sold our best goalkeeper. He's brought Eddie back off loan. This geezer has had more backing in 14 months, 13 months or whatever it is that he's been here than Wenger in his last 3 or 4 years and Unai Emery combined, bruv. And there is no excuse for him to be sat there putting out a team and everyone going, oh, well, it's a reserve team. You can't play the same players every week. Well, Liverpool were doing it for fucking 3 years, mate. What are you talking about? Yeah?
Honestly, man.
You know, we were doing it in the Invincible era. What are you talking about? The fact of reality is we could pick an 11, and I've said this all season, right? And people were laughing at me, yeah? I'm going full Farage now. Well, you're not laughing now, are you? Right? I said you could pick out of our squad of players an 11 that can challenge maybe for a title, but definitely for top 4. And everyone was laughing. This season's been a madness, bruv. We're 13 points off the top. We're 7 behind Liverpool. There's loads of teams in between with games in hand. I get that. But if we had had a proper manager, we would have beaten Burnley. That's another 3 points. We'd be 4 off Liverpool now, who are 4th. Yeah, if we would have beaten Southampton at home, that's now 1 off Liverpool. Then we would have beaten fucking Palace at home. Yeah, now we'd be fucking 2 ahead of them. Yeah, or 1 ahead of them, sorry. Yeah,
even just draws, Lee. Even just draws in those games we fucked up at home. Do you know what I mean?
And this is the thing, right? If you picked my back four at the start of this season, sorry to cut you on, my back four at the start of this season would have been Maitland-Niles at right back. He's 6 foot tall. He's rapid for a midfielder. He's fucking quick, bruv, that boy. Play him at right back. He's got the right physique to be a right back. Look at Wan-Bissaka. He's a bit bigger than Wan-Bissaka, but he's just as quick and he can defend, same as Wan-Bissaka, and he can cross the ball. Then you go with Saliba and Gabriel. Then you go Tierney. Your backups are then Louise and Holding. I'm cool with that. Midfield, you go with Thomas Partey and Guendouzi. Yeah. You then chuck Smith Rowe in there if you want, ahead of them in a free. You could mix it up and go with Thomas Partey and Xhaka if you want in another game, a cup game, for example. Yeah. Or you could go with Dani Ceballos next to Thomas Partey. On the wings, you've then got Pepe and Reece Nelson on the right. You could have Willian and Martinelli on the left, or Saka and Martinelli on the left, or whatever, Saka on the right with Pepe and Reece. Then you've got your strikers. I would have gone with Balogun, Aubameyang and Lacazette as the 3, with Martinelli either playing left wing or playing as a striker as well. How is that team not capable of getting in the top 4, or at least challenging? We're 10th, and people are happy that we're knocked out the cup because we've got a couple of big games coming up. These, bruv, I swear,
it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable, man. I could not believe it. And I just sat there and I thought, you know, when you like doubt yourself, you kind of sit there and think, what am I not seeing then? And like, everybody's telling me this is a good thing for the club, that we're out the FA Cup, the cup that everybody loved last season, right? Now, all of a sudden, it's okay because we've already won it 14 times and top 4 is more important. Now, I wouldn't mind that, Lee, so much if we were currently 5th and only a point behind 4th place, but we are nowhere near. We're not 10th. We're 11th again because Villa won again last night. And if they win again, we'll be further behind them. And if Everton go and get their 2 games in hand, then we'll be 11 points off of them and they're in 6th. That's not even going into top 4 yet. So I'm looking at the situation and I think we are nowhere near, we are miles off, in fact, coming anywhere near the top. I think personally, we're outside of Europe this season. And I said last season, the only way that I want to be in that Europa League is if we win the FA Cup, not by coming 6th. And I stand by the fact that I would rather win the Europa League than come 4th because you've got something to show for it.
Yeah, it's a trophy.
Into that Champions League. It's a trophy. So unless we're going to get into the Champions League, I don't really care if we come 7th or 15th, bruv. It's just unbelievable how poor.
Do you know what the narrative would be, then, yeah, if we don't qualify for Europa? It'd be, oh, well, that's the break we need. That's the break Arteta needs because now he's not got the midweek games in Europa all over these foreign countries, clogging up the fixture list. He can have a real good go at getting in the top 4. This is the same manager who told Willian he wants to win the Champions League inside 3 years, by the way. Yeah. This is the same manager that when he came in said, regardless of the players he has, we should be challenging for the title. Then he's sitting in his press conference the other day saying, well, I've never seen it in my life, a team come and close a 35 to 40 point gap. Hello, mate. Man United finished 33 behind Liverpool last season. They're above them. Leicester finished 37 behind them. They're above them. We finished 44 behind them or something. We're only 7 behind them. There's 36, 37 points, whatever. 3 teams just there have clawed it back because Man City and Liverpool have not been on it this season. And that is why, if we had gone with a fucking proper manager, bruv, we'd have Saliba and Gabriel at centre-back absolutely dominating. And then that Thomas Partey wouldn't have been rushed into the team and then got injured and rushed back. Yeah, and this is why, and this leads me on nicely, actually, to this signing, Ødegaard. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know what the O with the...
Yeah, Ødegaard, that's what I say as well. So
yeah, I'm just going to call him Ødegaard. But this guy, I was looking earlier, this guy's played 300 minutes of football this season. He's had 4 injuries in 5 months. He's had one injury every month, pretty much. Fantastic footballer, top class when he's fit. What I just sit like, I see so many people sitting there and he's flying over. He's on a plane now, apparently, flying over for a medical. All but confirmed. It should be confirmed tomorrow, apparently. Everyone seems to think this is going to be the Bruno Fernando signing for Arsenal. Like, do you see it as that? Because, bruv, if he's knocking Smith Rowe out of that team, number one, yeah, what does that do to Smith Rowe's confidence? People are telling me he can play centre mid. Well, bruv, I've seen Dani Ceballos come from that league, and Dani Ceballos is a bigger boy than this lad, and he's got no weight about him in midfield. I've seen Denis Suarez come to this league, who again was injured when he come here, and apparently this guy's got a little knee knock, problem with his knee, which is why he's not played. He didn't even train with Real Madrid today, bruv, or yesterday. He hasn't trained with them for about a week, apparently. He's been doing indoor training rather than training with the group. He's then going to come in. He's going to need time to adapt and get up to speed like Thomas Partey was when he came in. I've just got this. For me, he's a fucking wicked footballer, bruv, yeah? But for me, it's just Denis Suarez vibes. Like, how do you see it?
I don't know much about this kid because when he was a wonder kid at 16 years old and went to Real Madrid, that was as far as it ended. I look at the situation with him and he's either going to be somebody who deserves a break and flourishes, or he's going to be the next Freddie Adu, who you never hear from ever again, right? It's going to be like that, isn't it? So it's going to be one or the other. This is a risk, mate. But the only thing I'll say, the only thing that I can see as a positive with this deal is, one, we need somebody in that position because Smith Rowe, as much as he should play first team and shouldn't be knocked out, he ain't going to be fit for like the rest of the season. So we are going to need somebody else there. Otherwise, we're back to fucking Willian again. So I'm more than happy with getting a Bellerin for that position. The good thing about this kid, I think he only wants about 60 to 80k a week. Isco, Ericsson,
he's on about 30k a week, bro. 38k a week.
There we go, right? So Isco, Ericsson, Coutinho will be on about 250 a week if we get one of them. And they're waste men, man. And like in their late 20s, aren't playing well, out of form. This kid apparently was wicked for Real Sociedad, but like you say, had some injury problems. And that does worry me because everybody that comes to Arsenal has injury problems. I see Thomas Partey and Pablo Maria apparently have hardly missed any game of football since they've been a footballer. They come to Arsenal and they've hardly kicked a ball, neither of them, right? It's unbelievable.
It's true as well.
And it's what is it about? So what like kind of chance has this kid got? What I've seen of him, listen, it's only on YouTube, and to YouTube is always dangerous because it makes Mustafi look like Cannavaro. But when I look at it, he does have some nice parts about his play. I think his left foot's good. I think he's got some nice stride. I think he's got creativity and vision. But it's about keeping him fit, and that's a massive risk for me, Lee. But it's a player that I don't hate coming, but we haven't had great players on loan of late, have we? Let's be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? So let's see what happens, mate. I'm more excited by the summer transfer activity, if I'm honest, when we clear out some of this dross, man, if I'm honest with you.
Do you think, and thank you to everyone who is watching, there's 1,000 people watching this live right now. So make sure you smash the like button up. I will put Dan's Twitter account in the, if you want me to, in the description. Cheers, so you can follow Dan. I'll do that in a second. But make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're smashing the likes up as well. And thank you to everyone who has dropped a super chat in as well. Appreciate that, man. And do you think, because this is another thing that I've seen a lot of people going down this route of saying is, oh, well, we're getting loads of money off the wage bill in the summer. The summer's the window we overhaul everything. Well, that was supposed to be this window, because in the summer it was, well, we're in the height of a pandemic. It ain't Football Manager. Then it was January comes. Oh, we'll do it in January. Well, listen, I can't knock the club for getting rid of Mesut Ozil. I've wanted him gone for time, bro. Yeah, so that's a tick. Yeah. That's a massive tick. Socrates, tick. Although I do think he's probably better than half of our centre backs. But if we can't find a club for him and he ain't going to sign a deal, if we didn't offer him a deal, whatever, then maybe that was for the best. Yeah. The fact we let Saliba go out on loan, I think is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. The fact that we've signed Matt Ryan, I'm not too disappointed with that. It just goes to show Runnison was just a panic buy. He basically admitted that in his press conference the other day. But I think that people are going to go down this route of the summer window is going to be the one. We're getting 50 million a year off the wage bill. We're going to go and spend big. Who would you want to get rid of in the summer, and who would you bring in?
Honestly, mate, I look at the situation, and I said it earlier, there's positives about who we have bought in. There is 100%. The recruitment over the last few windows has been chalk and cheese into what it has been under the Gazidis and Wenger days and even the Raul days, to be fair. But if you're talking about the summer, personally for me, and this is people disagree and go mental when I say this, I'd get rid of Bellerin because I think we can get some money for him, even if it's 20 to 30 million. I'd get rid of Lacazette because I don't believe he deserves a 250k a week contract because I don't think he's been good enough. I'd take the 30 to 40 million for him. I'd get rid of Granit Xhaka because I still think we can probably get between 25 and 35 million for him also. And there all of a sudden you've got players that you can replace. Now, I don't care if we don't spend 70 million or 80 million on a centre forward. I don't care if we don't go and get Haaland for whatever it is, 64 release clause. I don't care if we don't go and get 80 million on Jack Grealish. Listen, I'd love to have both of them, but I don't feel they're realistic. I'm talking about doing what Liverpool did and going and getting the whole left back, who everyone said was rubbish and is now the best in the world. I'm talking about going and getting Basuma from Brighton, who can easily be a Wijnaldum.
That's the one.
Yeah, man.
Yesterday.
Wicked goal, mate. 30 odd yards.
He'd be put in the reserves for shooting from that far out if he played for us, mate. You're not allowed to shoot,
mate. Unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable goal. Even his mate Lamptey at Brighton, I like the look of. I think he's got a lot of mentality. Yeah. He looks absolutely wicked. So that's another one that I'd replace Bellerin with. If not, Klosterman from Leipzig looks like a hell of a right back. Upamecano, I'm a huge fan of, and his 38 million release clause. I'm a huge fan of.
That's the problem with Ben. That's the problem with that league, isn't it? That league, unless you're a Chelsea and just go bang, we're having him. They go buy him.
Precisely. And the other one I'd do is I'd go and get the Celtic lad up top, because I think Ødegaard would do what Lacazette does plus more. I like him a lot. So that's what I'd be doing personally in the summer. I'm not so sure about the wide men. I'm not so sure that a Zaha or a Traore would calm or would improve us even, because they'd improve us. Don't get me wrong, because they're better than Willian. But you get my point. I really wanted Houssam Aouar. I really did. I put up my neck on the line, and I like him. I like him a lot. He's been very, very hit and miss of late, but I think that's a mental thing. I saw him absolutely destroy Man City in the Champions League, bro. So that to me says that he's got ability. He looks so comfortable on the football. It is unbelievable. So I really like him.
Yeah.
Now, go on, mate.
I just want to dig out two things real quick, yeah. Firstly, I'll go with a wide, right? Do you think that's because, and I know it was against Man City and I watched the game, he was fucking brilliant, bruv. Like literally
he was
his best player on the pitch. Do you think he could do that consistently in our league? Or do you think he just raised his game? No, that's the first question. Number two, you said Jack Grealish ain't achievable. Yeah, it's not realistic, yeah? 100% disagree. Yeah. If Arsenal cannot attract an Aston Villa footballer, we might as well just shut up shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not I'm just saying. Do you know what I
mean? No. Listen, I don't care, man. Absolutely, and I agree with it. And I agree with it. Listen, the Houssam Aouar situation. I think this guy, from what I have seen, because obviously I saw that game and I started to think, who is this guy? This guy looks unbelievable. Then we got like a slight rumor being linked with him, and then I started to go back and watch some games. Now I don't watch an amazing amount of French football, but the games that I do watch, I start to notice players. I noticed Gabriel at Lille, and I thought, what a centre half he's going to be. And then we signed him, and everyone said, who's this? And I said, trust me, he'll be a good signing. And to be fair, I know he was rusty yesterday, but I think he's probably our best defender, right? And he will be class. Houssam Aouar, what he can do on the ball, he looks like a little Cesc Fabregas to me, right? The potential to be a Cesc Fabregas. And the reason I say that is not just because of his vision and his creativity, but he's got work rate and he's got the mentality that he wants to go forward and be the best that he can be. His attitude is so good. That's why I liked Guendouzi. A lot of people thought that was annoying and immature and he's too passionate. I like that. And Houssam Aouar looks like he could be a little bit of that, which people say is risky. So that's why I think with that one, in terms of consistency, it's always a risk when you buy a player from another league, mate. It always is. And that's why I'd take Jack Grealish over him tomorrow. Jack, if I could pick one signing.
FC, mate, that'd be changing.
I love this player, man. I love this player. And you know what? The reason I say it's unrealistic is not because he wouldn't want to come to Arsenal and that Arsenal wouldn't want him. It's because I don't think that we've got the money or the balls to say there's 80 million, because that's what he's going to cost. And I think personally that would just put us off, because that's what it always has in the past. And I know that the Pepe situation was different because we paid 72 million for him, but that was over installments over like 50 years for whatever Raul did. I just think that it's
almost like we've had a backstage conversation, because I was going to go straight on, and we actually haven't even we've only ever spoke on one podcast before, haven't we? And we've had a couple of games and that, yeah. And I just said backstage, we'd do this, we'd say, but we never actually mentioned Pepe, and you led me on perfectly with Pepe. What would you do with Pepe? Do you rate him? Do you think he's been unfairly treated? Do you think he's just crap? And how much can we get for him if we bin him?
He's not crap. By no means, he's not crap. He's got a lot of talent. I just don't think that what he's doing at the moment is suiting Pepe's style. And I'm talking, when I mean him, I don't mean Pepe, I mean Arteta. I've seen Pepe have two of his best games against Liverpool at Anfield last season under Unai Emery, where he played up front with Aubameyang and he just tore Van Dijk and Robertson to pieces, playing centrally. And I saw him in the FA Cup final when he was immense, playing in the number 10 or behind Lacazette. And ever since we played those two games, we've never put him centrally again. And I want to ask why. He's so predictable on the right. You know where he's going. He's going to cut him on his left-hand side. He's a very frustrating player. But I do feel it's got to the stage now where we have to kind of cut our losses, because I don't know how much more time we can give this guy. And Arteta doesn't seem to rate him or want him at the club. It's quite clear. I don't think he's treated him very well. I don't think he's ever given him the chance that or the credit that he deserves. I believe he's one of those players with a little bit of a soft mentality, which I've been kind of guilty of saying in the past I don't like to see. And I feel that the time has come in the summer that we may have to try and cut our losses. And if we sell him, mate, we're going to get about 25 million for him, tops, 30 million. It ain't going to be a lot. So what do we do? It's a great question. I don't know what you do, mate.
I'd play him. If Willian can play 20 games for us this season, or take part in 20 games for us this season, then why can't Pepe? Pepe's never played more than 5 in a row, bro. Do you know that? That's mad.
Jesus,
never played more than 5, and that's since he's been at the club. That's not just under this manager. That's under Emery. Emery's openly admitted that he didn't want him. He wanted Zaha, and the thought process behind that was Zaha's ready now. I don't rate Zaha. Yeah, I just think he's having a good season. Last season, where was he? Disappeared. Yeah, and you know, I know we could have got Zaha. Zaha said that he wanted to come. Unai Emery wanted him. We never went and paid the money. We went for Pepe. That wasn't Emery's choice. That was Raul Sanelli saying, I want Pepe. And for the long-term vision, cool. But we needed to win then, not next year or the year after. So I would have took Zaha based on what the crack was then, even though I don't particularly rate him. And I do think Zaha would do well for us. I just think that we've got something so special with this lad, but he's letting me down every time he does play. But it must be very difficult that he's moved to a new country. And I'm not making excuses, but he's moved to a new country and he probably don't speak the language properly yet. And if he does, it's very broken or whatever. I don't know. Maybe he does speak English. I've never heard him speak, bruv. But you then get dumped by one manager, the manager that you were signed under. You then get Freddie Ljungberg put you in the team. You score an absolute banger at West Ham. And then Freddie then drops you. You then get put against Man United and score against Man United. You then get dropped the next game. You get a goal against Brighton. You then get dropped the next game. Must do your fucking head in, brother. You must be sitting there thinking, it doesn't matter what I do. And that's why when he got sent off against Leeds, I was like, I don't really blame him. It must be so frustrating that it doesn't matter what he does in that game, he ain't playing next week. Yeah, and there's little cliques there, man, at that club. We've got the Brazilian clique, we've got the French clique, we got the German clique that's being split up as we speak. It's going to come on top for this manager real soon because he is fucking players around too much, and he's one of them, man.
It has, and I think with Pepe, I'd love to see us play a system and watch that boy fly, because I do believe there's a player in there. I think he's got an amazing amount of technical ability. When he first came, it was like pressure was off, no fear, go for it. I see him play brilliantly against Burnley at home, as well as Danny Ceballos, by the way, who I've not seen play like that since.
I gave Danny Ceballos a 10 out of 10 in that game.
Man, he deserved it. He was exceptional. He was exceptional, and don't give him a 10 again, Lee, because he has not done anything since. But listen, for me, I don't think we should sign Danny Ceballos personally. I think it's too inconsistent for me to justify a £35 million player. So when I look at the situation with Pepe, though, I do think that there's a player in there. He doesn't seem to be linking up with any players. He doesn't seem to be getting.
Bellerin comes inside every time.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. Yeah. Can't play with Bellerin, but who can? When actually, do you know what? When Pepe plays with Maitland-Niles, Pepe plays better. Much better.
Oh, 100%. And the thing is, this is because Maitland-Niles is an athlete. Yeah, and this is what football's become now. Hector Bellerin is not an athlete. Yeah, like look at his physicality. Bro, he's skinnier than me. Yeah, like he can't run fast anymore, which is why he always comes inside. There was a game, I think it wasn't Villa. I think it was Brighton. He went to kick the ball past somebody and run round them the opposite way. And the geezer just went, yeah, cool, mate. I'll have that. Yeah. Then there was another game. He went to go and take it on the outside. And as the ball's come over the top, he's took a good touch, which shown up and often, because normally it bounces 10 foot off his foot. Yeah. And he's brought it inside. And I thought, you don't trust yourself pace-wise anymore. Yeah. Which is why you come inside every time. Yesterday, I actually thought he was one of our better players, Bellerin. I didn't think he had a bad game at all.
No, same.
He was great, but he's never great, is he? But no. I think that the problem we have is when we play with Pepe, you need somebody that overlaps him. When he played at Lille, not that I watched a lot of French football, because I didn't, but when you see the highlights of his goals, or the good moments and the clips that do the internet, do the rounds on the internet, it's always somebody overlapping him, which gives him that pace, time to come inside, because they're now occupied with the runner. Yeah, and then he then comes inside, and you get him on his left foot. But he's got a wicked left foot, man. Yeah, and it always looks better when somebody scores a goal with a left foot in it. It always looks better.
Yeah,
like,
I love left-footed players. Yeah, I love left-footed players.
I can't lie. My right was good, but my left was the money shot. Not that I was anything.
But you know what, though, man? We're just quickly with Bellerin before we move. Just quickly with Bellerin. What I can't understand, man, is that I can't get over is how someone can take 5 foul throws in 4 games or 5 games. You take 1 foul throw in a season. I got beats when I used to do it at Sunday League. So how someone can do it as a professional footballer? And now Cedric's copying him because he's been taking 2 in 2 games now as well. But the other thing with Bellerin is the day that he came out and said that Alexis Sanchez wants to win too much was the day I wanted him to leave my club. I couldn't stand what he said there. I couldn't believe it. I just can't. I grew up. I was a bit spoilt maybe because I'm 33 years old. So I've grew up in the best era of Arsenal, 100%, you know, under Arsene Wenger, under George Graham, and going into the Emirates has been an absolute disaster apart from the FA Cups that we've won. But I've been spoilt. So I get spoilt a lot. And people say to me, oh, you know, you shouldn't be moaning as an Arsenal fan. You've got great trophies and stuff like that. But I have grown up winning. Yeah. And when players come to my club with that mentality of winning, that's why I love Kieran Tierney, because albeit in Scotland, he's won stuff. He's a winner, and winning breeds other winners. Bellerin is not a winner. Bellerin is literally a player that has come out and said that Alexis Sanchez needed to leave because he wanted to win so much. Which basically is saying
Anfield said it's normal to lose at Anfield after we lost there this season. Like, why is it? You know what? Did you know this? Yeah, that when he first came to Arsenal, Arteta was the captain at the club, I think, at the time.
Yeah,
Arteta and his wife put him up, put Bellerin
right.
up.
That's right. It's roomed. Yeah, that's right. Roger.
Yeah, it's pathetic, bro. He is, and I say that, and I say this with confidence as well, with my little pigeon chest, bro. Yeah, right. He is the worst right back I have ever seen at Arsenal. I'd take Jenkinson over him. He could actually defend and he could cross a fucking ball.
Yeah, he could. Yeah.
That boy could cross a ball. Yeah. This geezer, if he crosses a ball and it's accurate, I think he's miskicked it, bruv. Yeah. It's like, oh, you spooned up, did it? Yeah. Lichtsteiner, I would take over this guy. He can defend. Yeah. As a right back, I know the game's evolving and it's now athletes in each position rather than actual footballers. But I was saying this to the father-in-law earlier. We were watching the Man United game. And I said, these lot, I said, look at Liverpool, yeah? I said, Trent is a shit defender. Yeah, that guy cannot fucking defend. I said, but what he is the perfect athlete and he can spam crosses into the box. Yeah, and that is exactly what football's become now. Hector Bellerin, if his pace was still there and he could cross, he would be Trent. Yeah, he can't cross and he ain't got no pace anymore. So he's done out here, bro. And this is what football's become. With Maitland-Niles, 100%. You put Maitland-Niles in that team, I don't think he's the greatest of footballers, technically, but he is an athlete. He's a big, strong, physical guy, and he's very quick. Yeah, and if you get the right coach with that guy, you can coach him into being a very good defensive and attacking right back. Yeah, do you remember when we got to the Europa League final and we played Valencia away in the semi at their ground, Mestalla? Yeah. And he whipped that ball in for Aubameyang. Yeah, that was him bombing down that wing. When was the last time we've actually seen Bellerin do that? No,
unbelievable, mate. He couldn't cross a road, mate. It's unbelievable. And Kolasinac as well, unbelievably poor player. That for me was the worst left back we've had. People told me that he was the tank, so it's all okay, and that he helped out, you know, the bodyguard for Mesut. For me, like Thomas the Tank, mate. I tell you, this guy cannot cross. He couldn't shoot. He couldn't deliver a cross. He couldn't assist. He couldn't defend. He was the most uncomfortable player on the football. He couldn't pass the ball. We all saw that with his pass to Son at White Hart Lane last year.
Oh, bro, what was that?
Unbelievable. I was just. I mean, I couldn't. Everyone that knows me from podcasts knows that Kolasinac was my worst player. I couldn't stand him and Mustafi.
Let me cut you off. Sorry to cut you off. Right?
Go on.
Because and I know we're going to wrap this up very shortly as well. It's nearly 10 o'clock. Wow, that's flown, bruv.
Yeah, hasn't it?
A couple more minutes. Yeah, and we've loaned him out, but now we're looking to loan Ryan Bertrand. Right? So I'm like, okay, so when you've done this little plan, why didn't you get Ryan Bertrand signed, sealed, delivered before loaning him out? Because now we're one Kieran Tierney injury away from Saka playing left back when he's been our best player for the last 4 games. Or 5 games when he's been playing right wing. There's no plan at this club, bruv. It winds me up.
There isn't a plan. There's no plan at all. And I look at this, and this is where Edu and Vinay have to take the blame. And listen, I am a Kroenke out. I don't want the Kroenkes. And the reason I don't want Kroenkes isn't because they don't spend money. It's because they've got no ambition for this club. They don't care about Arsenal, mate. I want an owner that actually care. People slag off fucking Abramovich in the last 15 to 20 years that he's been there. Who's been the most successful club and left everyone else dead in the water? Chelsea, because he's a winner and he cares about Chelsea. And if you don't win, you're fucking gone, mate. Lampard's not going to stay there much longer. He'll be gone. And I look at the situation. I'm surprised he's still there. And I look at the situation at the moment, and we've got owners that are clueless and don't know anything about soccer. We've got Vinay and Edu that have, I don't know what, if anyone can tell me what Vinay Venkatesham does, please do in the chat. Because I have no idea.
Deals with companies that don't exist, bruv, in China. Yeah, that's what he's done. I tweeted it out months ago. Yeah, he signed a deal with a Chinese car company that don't fucking exist. Yeah, he does, and he was Arsenal CEO at the time, or one of the CEOs. It's like, what are you doing?
This is the problem with this club. It's top to bottom problems, mate. And these are the people that employed Arteta because they thought that he was the inexperienced coach to take us forward. So I can't stick up for the board and the owners. I can't. I really can't. The recruitment over the last 15 years has been piss poor. So, you know, when you think we could have had Kante for 32 million, but they wanted to pay £2 million more for Granit Xhaka, they didn't want Van Dijk for 12 million. They wanted Mustafi for 35. You know, it's unbelievable.
Like for 52 million, they're taking the piss, bruv. That guy is not 52 million.
Unbelievable, mate. So, anyway, man, we digress.
Either, and I like Pepe, but he ain't a 72 million pound footballer, mate. No way. We had pants down at that one. Proper. But listen, we are going to wrap this up, and listen, you're welcome on any time you want, mate. Yeah, and the chat room have loved you. There's 1,200 people watching this live right now. Make sure, if you haven't hit the like, hit it now. Make sure you subscribe, and I've put Dan's Twitter account into. No, I haven't. I thought I'd done it, and then I went on a tangent. Let me just paste that in there. There you go. Your Twitter's now in the description of this video. So if you want to go and follow Dan, make sure you do it right now. It's in the description. It's underneath the title and the Fabrizio video that I'm going to take out, actually, because that's run its course. So yeah, Dan is literally just under the title in the description. So go and follow his Twitter. Dan, it's been a pleasure, man. That's gone real quick as well. So thank you, man. Appreciate you giving up 15 minutes. Man said, what's your channel? Dan ain't got a channel. Everyone else has got one, mate. You might as well join in.
Yeah, man, there's so many in there about. It's unbelievable. But no, man, it's been a pleasure coming on, man. Really appreciate chatting to you, man. And big up everyone in the chat. Big up Lee Gunner's channel, and get subscribed if you haven't done so already. And thanks for having me on, mate.
No, of course, man. Anytime. Like I said, you're welcome anytime you want. Thank you to everyone who has watched live. Just to give you a heads up, I will be back again tomorrow. Soon as I'm up and about, hopefully Martin Ødegaard will be dropping. Well, he's on a plane. He's probably landed by now. So that transfer news will hopefully be done by lunchtime. Failing that, I'll just be doing a transfer video. 4 o'clock, I got Rants back on. He's buzzing. They've just beaten Liverpool again. And then 8 o'clock, I think it is. I'll have to confirm, but I'll have Turkish back on at 8 o'clock. So busy day tomorrow. And I'm out of here. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Big up to everyone who's watched live as well.